Welcome to Movie Maven. Today we're diving into a sci-fi blockbuster, Starship Troopers. In the vast, starry expanse of dark space, the merchant ship Hunter is on its way to its destination. However, during the journey, the ship is suddenly struck by unidentified debris. Tragically, most of the crew perishes, leaving only two survivors, Caroline and Owen. They soon discover that their ship has been knocked off course and is hurtling towards an unknown planet. In an effort to control the ship's descent, Caroline is forced to jettison the cargo hold at the rear. But the ship is still too heavy, and the danger of crashing remains. Caroline makes the difficult decision to abandon the passenger cabin in order to save herself, but Owen, determined to take responsibility for the passengers, tries desperately to stop her. In the end, the ship crash lands safely on the barren planet, though Owen suffers a fatal injury when a metal shard pierces his chest. As he dies in Caroline's arms, a grateful survivor thanks Caroline for saving their lives, stirring conflicting emotions within her. At that very moment, an ancient evil, awakened by the ship's crash, escapes the wreckage. Officer John, realizing the severity of the situation, quickly orders everyone to arm themselves and warns them about Dick, a dangerous prisoner who is a cold-blooded killer. The survivors know that their immediate concern is to find water on this planet, which has 3 suns, and they must set out to explore. The group splits into 2 teams, one to guard the ship and bury the dead, and the other to venture further into the blue sunlight to search for water. Not long after, the team spots trees through their binoculars. However, upon closer inspection, they discover a graveyard of enormous animal skeletons scattered across the land. This raises the question of what could have killed such massive creatures. The team presses on and eventually stumbles upon an abandoned outpost. Here, they find a machine designed to generate water, along with a fully intact spaceship, filling them with hope. Meanwhile, Zack, who is tasked with digging graves, stumbles upon a cave. Curious, he peers inside, but before he can react, an unknown force pulls him into the depths. The desert is soon filled with his desperate, horrifying screams. When Sasha arrives at the scene, all she finds are bloodstains and Dick standing at the entrance to the cave. Surprisingly, Dick doesn't harm Sasha but simply turns and walks away. Dick is quickly tripped by John, who, unaware of his weakness, yanks off Dick's blindfold. Unable to adjust to the blinding light from the 3 suns, Dick is left writhing in agony. Later, John confronts Dick, finding him locked up, and discovers his glowing eyes. It turns out that Dick had been imprisoned in a pitch-black cell for years, where his eyes were surgically altered to see perfectly in the dark. Caroline, desperate for answers, demands to know where Zack's body is. Dick claims he didn't kill Zack, warning that the real horror of this planet lies within the cave. Anyone who enters will see the truth. Caroline, determined to find out more, ties a rope and ventures into the cave. Soon, she discovers Zack's bloody, severed leg. But the terrifying creatures lurking in the dark begin to stir, and Caroline is forced to scramble towards a small light opening, only to have her rope yanked by one of the monsters. In a moment of desperation, Caroline calls out to young Jack. Hearing her cries, the group manages to rescue her. After learning of the monsters on this planet, John seeks out Dick once more, hoping this powerful man will help them escape the nightmare. In exchange for freedom, Dick agrees to assist, and the group gathers essential supplies before heading to the outpost. They now face the terrifying truth. All the humans who once inhabited the outpost were slaughtered by the monstrous creatures, and the young cultist who had been on a pilgrimage with her mother is now missing. The group rushes to search for her, only to find her mutilated body in a dark warehouse. It turns out that the warehouse hides a cellar, and it was from this very cellar that the creatures emerged, attacking the young cultist. The humans who had been stationed at the outpost previously had all met the same grim fate. The survivors deduce that the monsters are afraid of light and hide in the darkness, believing that as long as they move during the day, they will be safe. However, Caroline discovers from a sample label that the incident occurred 22 years ago. She quickly rushes to a model room and uncovers a chilling fact. Every 22 years, the light from the 3 suns is blocked by a giant planet, plunging the entire world into an extended period of darkness. The situation grows dire. The immediate priority is to retrieve enough batteries from the crashed spaceship so Caroline can power up the outpost's ship. Before they set off, Caroline, at Dick's suggestion, uncovers John's secret. He is not a police officer, but a bounty hunter. He had captured Dick only to claim a bounty. Although Caroline is furious at John's deception, she realizes they have more pressing matters at hand. The group prepares to transport the batteries using a solar-powered vehicle, but as they retrieve the batteries, the suns are suddenly blocked, and a swarm of monstrous birds attacks like a tornado, forcing them to drag the batteries back to the cargo hold. Dick and Sasha are left behind, but Dick remains calm. After dropping to the ground, he doesn't immediately rise, while Sasha continues her frantic escape. As the darkness completely envelops the planet, towering sand pillars are broken open from the inside by the monsters. Dick's glowing eyes finally witness the savage horror of the creatures. The group hides in a pitch-black cargo hold, but it offers no safety. After another cultist is torn apart, they decide to risk returning to the outpost with the batteries. Knowing that light can burn the creatures, they strip glowing strips of light from the ship and attach them to themselves, allowing the group to quickly navigate through the monster-filled landscape. However, their hope is short-lived. Barris, the antique dealer, frightened out of his wits, crawls out on his own, and his glowing strips cause the batteries to fall. Now trapped in utter darkness, the group faces more peril. As Barris fumbles with a bottle of alcohol, it ignites, and he burns to death, providing them with one last chance to escape the dark. They finally press forward, but Dick tells them that the monsters are targeting them because one of the girls is bleeding. Caroline insists she isn't hurt, but Dick, pondering, looks at Jack. It turns out Jack is a girl in disguise, and she is currently on her period. Navigating a treacherous valley with a bleeding girl is a problem, and John, to save his own skin, suggests that Dick kill Jack. Dick, seeing John's cowardice, slashes his back with a knife. John, bleeding, tries to defend himself with a gun, but is impaled by a monster's claws, his skull crushed in one bite. When the group realizes that John has been killed, they pick up their pace. However, the sky darkens and a heavy rain begins to fall, the weak light flickering as the last cultist is carried off by the monsters. They can go no further. Dick instructs the remaining three to seek shelter in a cave while he ventures off to the outpost with the batteries. Using his night vision eyes, Dick reaches the ship swiftly. After connecting the batteries, he seals the door, preparing to leave this nightmare of a planet behind. However, Caroline suddenly appears, pleading with Dick to help rescue Jack and Eamon. But Dick, unwilling to return, tells Caroline to come with him instead. At that moment, Caroline, no longer the timid woman who had once been willing to sacrifice the passengers to save herself, now stands brave and fearless. Moved by her courage, Dick agrees to help. Together, they rescue Jack and Eamon and return to the ship. But when they reach the ship, Caroline finds that Dick is missing. Just then, she hears Dick's furious roar, realizing he is in danger. She rushes to save him and succeeds in bringing the injured Dick back to the ship. But as she does so, a sharp pain hits her and bright red blood mixes with the rain. She is dragged into the darkness by the monsters, while Dick collapses, seemingly drained of all his strength. Caroline's sacrifice sparks a profound transformation in Dick. No longer the cold-blooded killer, he becomes a man awakened by the humanity Caroline had ignited within him. As the ship lifts off, Dick embarks on a path of vengeance. He detonates the ship's engines, sending a fiery explosion into the sky, reducing the monsters to ash in the blazing inferno. Dick, along with Jack and Eamon, escapes the doomed planet. Though they have lost Caroline, they have also discovered the true meaning of life. In that moment, Dick's heart no longer harbors only hatred. It now beats with a newfound appreciation for life. He is no longer a murderer, but a man redeemed. As the ship soars into the vastness of space, Dick and the surviving crew members finally leave behind the horrors of that dreadful planet. Their future remains uncertain, but they are no longer the same people consumed by vengeance and despair. Caroline's sacrifice remains an indelible mark on their souls, a driving force that pushes them to continue living, motivated not by revenge, but by the hope of something greater.